Okay, to solve the problem that we have now requires learning about some new data types. We've briefly covered them in lessons. You've probably heard their name, but that's as far as the understanding may go. What we're going to look at is things called lists and tuples. So let's have a brief refresh on things like lists and tuples. Let's do it in the shell. I'll close this down and get a new shell open. Python shell, there we go. So a list is a built-in data type, rather like string. It can contain more than one item. Now a list is what we call delimited. In other words, it starts with a square bracket and then we can have items inside that like 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. In other words, it can contain multiple items, but it is only classed as one thing, one data type. So I can do my list equals 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is fine. So I've got a variable whose data is a list of numbers. So if I want to print it out, I would just type my list, and there we go. I've got my my data coming back to me. Now the nice thing about a list is, rather like a string could be indexed 0, 1, 2, 3, we can do exactly the same with a list. So if I wanted to have a look at the value 1 there, that would be my list 0, the first element, and it returns 1. If I wanted to do it for subsequent values, let's take a look at my list. I tried to copy and paste that, it didn't work. In fact, nothing's working. There we go. My list 2, that is 0, 1, 2, it should be 3. There we go. And my list, let's try that copy and paste again. That's better. My list 3 should be 4, and it's not going to surprise you that if I go beyond the end, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, I get some sort of error. So that is a list, and the nice thing about a list is that items can change. My list 0 equals 5. If I type my list, I've changed the first element to 5. And there's lots of other things that we can do with a list. So this is our first sort of option. We can also have strings in a list. So my string list is equal to, let's say, 111 and whoops, 101. Now I've got strings. It would be a lot easier if I type things incorrectly. Forgot to put the equal sign in. There we go. And now I can print out my string list 1 should be the first element, which is 0, 1. So I should expect 101 from that. There we go. And to save me typing all that again, I can do my list 0, and I get the first element from my string. So 0 and 1 give me my first element. If I try 2, I'm beyond the end of the list and I will receive an error. There we go. So that is a list. In the next video, I'm going to give a different data type that we could use, which does something very similar to lists. It's called a tuple, but that'll be in the next video.